Hello and welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for co-op news, reviews, and playthroughs. I'm Peter, and today I'm going to be reviewing or unboxing Marvel Champions. That's right, we got the Next Evolution box in. I got the box, got the rules right here. Got the box right here, but you might notice that this isn't physical cards. That is because I find it much easier. If you've seen any of my unboxing videos in the past, you've noticed that it is very hard to see. I can't get my zooming quite right. So what did I do? I scanned in every card from the box. No, this is not publicly available into this program. And now I am able to show it to you live and zoom in on the cards, hopefully in a way that will be super easy for everyone to read. And actually, I'm going to double check that myself, but you all let me know. Make sure that you are able to read the card fully. Yep, I got the bottom of the screen. Cool. So please, this is going to be interactive. Let me know what you think. This is... All right. So I did scan every card, right? So this isn't necessarily my first time looking at every card. I've certainly seen them all, but this is my first time reading every card. How about that? So I am going to be reacting naturally, at least hopefully naturally, as naturally as I can. But I am super excited because this will literally be my first time reading every card. I'm not really a preview person. I did put the cards back in numerical order, the way they would come out in the deck, at least again, to the best of my ability. So we're going to go through today Cable, and we're going to go through Domino. And so those are the two unboxings, quote unquote unboxings we're going to do, is go through every card from both of those decks, including their alter egos. And there is a bonus card we will go through at the end as well. There's literally one extra card from what I could tell. I haven't played through Next Evolution yet. I just got it today. Literally, I've opened it. Like I said, I'm going through this with you all. Tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern, we are going to be playing through not pre-constructed decks. We are going to be playing through constructed decks for both Cable and Domino, and we are going to be playing against the first scenario of the campaign. So join us back here at 10 p.m. tonight on One Stop Co-op Shop streamed if you want to see that. I know I'm doing a Cable or a Domino video literally as soon as I'm done here. I'm going to record a Domino video of the pre-con. I'm also going to do a Cable video at some point throughout the weekend, and both of those will be streamed to our main channel, the One Stop Co-op Shop channel. So if you want to see solo playthroughs of those, go over there and check those out. But without further ado, let's get in. No comments? No comments so far. All right, so we got Cable here. We got Nathan Summers. He's a mutant soldier with 4 recovery, hand size of 6, hit points of 12. You may include player side schemes from any aspect in your deck. So this is similar to the Cyclops card, where you can include allies, X-Men allies from any aspect. Now you can do player side schemes, and this is something new. I've seen it in Lord of the Rings, and we played with it a little bit last week. If you saw, we did get some sneak preview cards from Fantasy Flight Games, so we saw a little bit of this. Basically, these are cards you play from your hand. They become a side scheme. At least the ones I saw didn't have anything negative with them, but when you defeated them, you would get something good, and you'd have to focus on it. And everybody on the team would get something good, and so it was scaled for player count as well. Soldier X setup: search your deck and discard pile for the player's sides for a player side scheme and put it into play. Well, that makes sense. He wants to have side schemes. He wants to get rid of them. You get to put one into play at the beginning of the game. Again, there's a Lord of the Rings character that does this. That was really cool. Basically let us draw an extra card every turn, or I forget what it was. But it's really powerful abilities. Sometimes that are one... Oh no, that one let us search for a card and put it into our hands. So if you got a bad mulligan at the beginning of the game, you could go for that. So hopefully this will do some fixing of those first turn issues you might get by being able to look for that during setup. All right, let's see. So on Cable on the other side, 2/2/2, straight across the board. Hand size now goes down to 5. So pretty standard as far as that goes. Response: after Cable defeats a side scheme, ready him. Limit once per phase. So again, he's going to want to put out these side schemes, and then he's going to ready for doing it. And 2/2/2 stat line is not bad at all. I'm going to leave this up here while we go through the rest of the cards. Let's see, a 0 cost event. That's always good. Body slide action. Change form. Each other player may change to the form you are in. So you can go change to alter ego. Now again, this is an event, so that means that'll let you get past the once a turn thing where you could switch sides. So maybe you switch to alter ego recover, flip over, defeat a side scheme, ready yourself with this body slide card. So for a free card, awesome. Anything that lets you change form is cool. This one also lets your other characters change to whatever form you're going to as well. So if you're going to your hero side, that'll let them go to their hero side, etc. So Mind Scan, it's a 2-cost event. Also, hero action, Thwart. So again, action, you can play on any player's turn. Thwart, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Remove 1 additional threat from a scheme for each side scheme in the victory display. And again, these side schemes are going to be victory side schemes that you're putting in the deck. So that will add schemes to the victory display. So the later on in the game, the better this Mind Scan is going to be. That's pretty cool. You get 2 of those at least. Oh, you get 3 of those. Nice. So 3 of those, I mean, worst case scenario, it's 3 thwart for 2 is not bad, but it's going to quickly, remember, you get to put one of those side schemes in play right at the beginning of the game, so it'll quickly go up to 4 threat removal for 2 costs pretty early. We have 9 down in the stream. Happy release day. Yeah, super excited. I know you've been MIA of late and sending best thoughts for you and your stream. I'm going to be sleeving this this weekend. Yes, and 9 down. Please come back tonight at 10 o'clock. We are going to be playing through as Cable and as Domino. Yeah, I've been MIA. For those of you who don't know, we're designing a board game. We're publishing a board game. We are, there's a lot of stuff going on. We went to Gen Con. I've been editing podcasts. It's been a lot, but I'm super excited. We're going to actually, I won't be around next weekend. My daughter has a hockey tournament. We might be recording Thursday night next week, though, so check back. I think we are going to test out Thursday night, see how that goes, because I'm off Friday next week to go up to this hockey tournament. All right, Precognition, 0-cost event, Psionic Superpower, Hero Action. Look at the top X cards of the encounter deck, where X is the number of side schemes in the victory display. So again, you're going to be getting more of these as the game goes on, but it's going to start at 0. You may discard one of those cards, put the rest back in any order. So this is the encounter deck, the bad deck. You get to get rid of one of them. But again, it is 0 cost, which is nice, but you do have to have at least 1 side scheme in the victory display for this to be worth anything. Still pretty darn good. Anytime you can mess with the... and it says may discard one of those. So if you draw it and it's like, I don't know, something you don't care about, a 0 boost card on top, maybe you keep it in there. And then you may discard, put the rest back in any order. So you get to also reorder the top of the encounter deck, which there have been some cards lately, like allies, that let you look at those cards, but it's always nice to be able to reorder them. That's really sweet. Telekinetic Blast. Attack. Deal 6 damage to an enemy. Deal 1 additional damage for each side scheme in the victory display. So as you can see, you're going to want to get those side schemes in the victory display. There's 2 of those, 3 costs. So, I mean, that could be pretty sweet. Okay, so this is the first one of these player side schemes we've seen. So this one's a 0 coster. It requires 5 to get rid of, so it's not per player. It does have a victory of 0, but that does mean it goes in the victory display, right? So that's the whole point of this. You want to get these in the victory display. Characters other than Cable cannot remove threat from Technovirus Purge. While Technovirus Purge is in the victory display, Nathan Summers and Cable, so that's both sides, both Nathan Summers and Cable, both sides gain the Psionic trait, and Cable gets +1 to everything. Holy moly. So this will be an interesting choice early in the game. Do I do this? Or as we'll see later, I'm sure, because I've seen some of these side schemes, not from doing this, just Terrence can't stop talking about it. So they're going to help everybody, right? A lot of these I think are going to help everybody, but this one's selfish. He has to remove it all himself, but he is the one that gets +1 to all his stats for the rest of the game. It's pretty stinking good. All right, we got Grey Malkin. It's a location. Response after a side scheme is defeated, ready Grey Malkin. Resource, exhaust Grey Malkin for a energy resource. So, resource generator that you can replenish by getting rid of side schemes. Sweet. 1 cost Professor. Persona Tech, alter ego action, exhaust Professor. Choose to either draw a card or search your deck and discard pile for a player side scheme and add it to your hand. Again, just getting more side schemes into play as quickly as possible. Now, this is good early game. It's not going to be great late game because you probably won't have many more side schemes. Because remember, as you defeat them, they go away. They're gone forever, those player side schemes. So great early game to get what you need. It also lets you mulligan one early if you know you have Professor. Like mulligan one to draw it from your discard pile. So there's definitely some uses for it. Or if you ever need to use them to pay for stuff, Professor will let you get them back out of that discard pile. Knowing you have Professor will certainly help you make choices what to do with those player side schemes. And you might not want to put them all out right away. Hero Response Thwart. After you defend against an enemy attack, exhaust Ascario's Son and spend a energy resource. So remember his resource generator a couple turns ago, Gray Malkin, does produce that energy resource you need. Remove threat from a scheme equal to your hero's thwart. So again, you start with 2, but you can easily get it up to 3 with that one side scheme. And hero response thwart after you gain defend against an enemy attack. So this is encourage you to defend, you spend an energy resource, and you get to thwart in addition to during your normal attack. And don't forget, if you defeat a side scheme doing that, then you also get to ready Cable. So you might be able to defend a second time or use him during the player phase. So that's kind of sweet. Force Anesthesia. It's a 1-cost upgrade. Also, psionic superpower. Hero response. After a non-permanent side scheme is defeated, add Forced Amnesia and that side scheme to the victory display. After a non-permanent side scheme is defeated, add Forced Amnesia and that's... So after a non-permanent side scheme... Oh! I get it. I had to read this like 50 times. I didn't get it. So this is for one of those side schemes that is like the enemy side schemes that doesn't have a victory display on it. You could put this on it if there's a really terrible side scheme, like the one that brings out Madame Hydra over and over again. You could put this Forced Amnesia on that side scheme, and then when you thwart it away, instead of putting it to the discard pile, you put that and this card to the victory display. He is really going to have a small deck after a while, it seems like, with all these cards going to the victory display. Which could be cool. I mean, you could theoretically, I don't think there'll be enough cards to do this, but really make your 25 card deck. Again, I know there's not going to be 25 side schemes, but in theory, at some point, you can make your deck, if they keep coming up with these hero side schemes, all hero side schemes, and like really thin your deck down to not 15 cards, obviously, but a low number, which would be kind of nice. So this is a plasma rifle restricted, so first weapon we've seen. Hero action, attack. Exhaust plasma rifle and spend a lightning resource. Again, Gray Malkin gets you that energy resource. Deal 1 damage to an enemy for each side scheme in the victory display to a max of 4. This attack gets ranged. So a 4 damaged ranged attack with that you can keep getting back. Or pay for pretty inexpensively with this deck. Assuming you get Gray Malkin out, of course. So that's pretty sweet. Only 2 more cards in his signature set. So a 2-cost upgrade here. Psionic Superpower, Hero Form only. Telekinetic Force Field. Oh, I like extra defense. When a friendly character would take any amount of damage, discard Telekinetic Force Field, prevent all of that damage. Nice. So this is not just for yourself, it's for any character. I was hoping there'd be a second one. 2-cost upgrade, Temporal Leap, Hero Interrupt. When the main scheme would be completed, remove this card from the game and put a side scheme from the victory display into play. Move 4 threat from the main scheme to that side scheme. So this will let you put one of those victory things back into play. So it may do a couple things. It may save the main scheme from going over. If you only went over by 1 to 3, you're moving 4 over, so that main scheme won't be completed anymore. You still could do it if there was like 10 over on the main scheme. You could still do it to bring a side scheme back from your victory display. Now, why would you want to do that? Again, some of these are everybody on your team gets to do something. I feel like we're going to get to those pretty early on. I think I put those early on in the deck, some of these side schemes, because those are the things I was most excited about. So, but it'll let you do that a second time, and you only have to put 4 threat on it. So it could save the main scheme, it could do a lot of things, and it's an upgrade. So you put it in play, and only when you would lose the main scheme do you have to put this in. That is, I like that card a lot. All right, so here's one of these side schemes. So victory. When defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for a weapon upgrade with a cost of 3 or less and put it into play. That's right, put it straight into play. So it's 2 per player. So again, he could pull his gun out. There are going to be lots of... I think this is the one we played with. I think this is the one we got a sneak preview of and the one we played with on our stream. Yeah, really cool to be able to pull weapons out early. In fact, I know it was because we played with Gamora and someone else. And most weapons, when we went through the preview of this, I'm pretty sure every weapon in the game right now might be 3 or less cost. I might be wrong on that. It might not be everyone, but there's a majority of the weapons cost 3 or less. So this just lets you run in and search for a player's best weapon. Oh my gosh, sorry. We've had lots of chat. Mary says, hello everyone. Hello, Mary. Nine Down says, I got to go back to work on break, but yay, Mary. And Mary says, this is hands down my favorite campaign box yet. Wow, that's saying a lot, Mary. Very cool. And then Mary's sad that Nine Down had to go back to work. But great seeing you, Mary, as always. All right, so that is a really cool side scheme. Let's again, it's only 2 per player to thwart off. So you got to pay 1 to put it into play. Then you got to thwart away 2 per player. It goes to the victory display, which helps Cable with all of his junk, obviously. And, it can ready Grey Malkin. And every player gets to search for a weapon and put it right into play. Let's see what the protection one is. This is a 1 cost one. 2 per player again. When defeated, give each identity a tough status card. I mean, this is identity, by the way. So that means character, whether they're a hero or alter ego, and every ally as well. I mean, that could be amazing. We've seen how good, Call for Champions is, where, all your characters are basically undefeatable for a turn. Well, this carries over from turn to turn if you keep that tough around. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So establish a perimeter. Nice. All right, let's see what the leadership one is. So this one costs 3 per player. It's another victory 0. And again, all these in the victory pile are just more help for Cable. When defeated, each player may search their deck and discard pile for an ally and put it into play. Now remember, we get to pick one of these on turn 1, right? Search your deck and discard pile for a player side scheme and put it into play, then shuffle. We could do this turn 1. Somebody could have, what's her name? Oh, the one that lets you play everybody draw a card. I mean, we could do that turn 1 as long as people help us thwart this thing down. I mean, it will have 3 per player, so it's not going to be as easy to get rid of. But there are some high-cost allies in this game, too. Even if you don't use it turn 1 to pull in a Maria Hill, that's her name, a Maria Hill or somebody like that, I mean, it's still going to be really good later in the game if you put, like, Nova Prime in the game. Nova Prime's really good. Anybody that has a put-into-play effect is going to be really good. So some of them say from your hand, but not all of them. So that's pretty exciting. And it does not have a cost restriction, unlike the weapon one, which is interesting because there are more higher cost allies than there are higher cost weapons. Like I said, even if there are some 4 cost weapons, that's the highest cost. And I didn't see too many of them, if there were any. I can't remember. Maria Hill, says Mary. Yeah, thanks. I've been using it to pull Phantom X. We haven't gotten to Phantom X yet, but we will get to it. That might be the special card I have over here. I can't remember. No, it is not. All right, so let's get to our first ally we've seen. This is a leadership ally. 3 cost, 3 life, 1 thwart, 2 attack. It is Caliban. He's a Psionic X-Force. Psionic is good too, because remember, there are cards that trigger off of having a Psionic character in front of you, so having more Psionic allies is definitely not bad. Response. After Caliban, but notice these aren't X-Men. That is important. Oh, look. I think we're getting a clue here to what might be next. Maybe we've had X-Factor characters before, but this is the first time I remember seeing it. Maybe I just haven't paid attention. X-Factor, X-Force, or X-Men, so maybe we're getting X-Factor next. I don't even know what that is. Not being a non-comic book fan, I'm movies mostly. Movies, cartoons is where I've gotten most of my Marvel knowledge from. So cool. Caliban response. After Caliban enters play, discard cards from the top of your deck until an X Factor, X Force, or X-Men ally is discarded. Add that ally to your hand. So pays for a little of that 3 cost because you will have a new ally in your hand and just draws you an ally. All right, Sunspot. 2 life, 3 cost, 1 thwart, 2 attack. So Aerial X Force. Response. After you play Sunspot from your hand, choose a player. Deal 1 damage to the villain and each minion engage with the chosen player for each lightning resource used to pay for Sunspot. Now she has 3 costs, so that could be up to 3, I say lightning, but energy resources. So that could be 3 damage to, the villain and every player in front of somebody. Also be very good against Ultron, even if you're only paying for it with 1. Oh, there's Phantom X. Mary said it's probably under Caliban. Yeah, I did not know the exact order for these. Oh, actually, there they are, right in the lower corner there. There's the number. Like I said, I scanned all these cards. I put them in. I just did not pay attention. But yes, should have probably been under Caliban. Let's see if you're right, Mary. I'm curious now. Because I did... Yep, that should have been right under. So, Phantom X. 4 cost. Oh my gosh. For 1... thwart, 1 attack, 3 life, Sonic X-Force. This response must be awesome. After Phantom X enters play, search your deck and discard pile for EVA and put it into play. So, what the heck is EVA? Did we already cover EVA? Well, let's see if EVA is in here. It's probably an upgrade, I would assume, or support, maybe. Price support. 2 cost upgrade, Mission Leader. Reduce the cost to play Mission Leader by 1 if your identity has the Soldier trait, which we do on both sides, both as Cable and as Nathan Summers. Here response. After a side scheme, and it is unique, after a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Mission Leader, each player draws 1 card. So, again... really goes well with the theme of Cable here. As you're defeating side schemes, you're getting more cards, you're getting more power, you're getting more everything. Uncanny X-Force. This is another support, or this is our first support, sorry, 2 cost support. Play under any player's control, max 1 team card per player. So this is the team card for the X-Force. If each character you control has X-Force trait, each ally you control gets +1 thwart, and -1 consequential damage after thwarting a side scheme. So the X-Force is really all about getting rid of those side schemes, and this will make your players able to thwart those side schemes. Now notice though, thwart 1, thwart 1, thwart 1, right? So you're not seeing high thwart allies here, but it is pretty stinking good still, because it does give them +1 thwart as well as reducing their consequential damage as long as it's on side schemes. So you got 1 for 3 different players. Oh, there's EVA. There we go. This is a vehicle, 0 cost. If Phantom X is not in play, discard EVA. So Phantom Force and EVA go together. Once Phantom X is defeated, then this got to go away too. So as an action, you can exhaust EVA to choose. Remove a threat from a side scheme, deal a damage to an enemy hero. Oh, but Phantom X is definitely X-Force, so with Uncanny X-Force, that's kind of a cool team up. He could thwart, and then you could use EVA to remove more threat, deal damage to an enemy, or heal a damage from Phantom X. Oh, so you could even use Phantom X to attack, whatever else. And this will keep Phantom X going. So you can search your deck and discard, just not your hand, for EVA. That's pretty cool. Let's see, we got 14 more cards to go. EVA is a support. Phantom X is good for a Voltron deck. Sounds like it. Yeah, you can add a lot of upgrades, says Mary. Multiple Man and Warlock are both also X Factor. Good to know. Thank you, Mary. I wanted Mission Leader for my Cap deck. Yeah, no, Cap. Which one's Mission Leader? This is all new to me. So let me go check Mission Leader again. After a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Mission Leader, and each player draws a card. I miss that each player. It's not just you that draws a card, it's everybody. So that's kind of cool. Mission planning. Play only if there is a side scheme in the victory display. Until the end of this phase, allies you control cannot take consequential damage. So again, thwarting, attacking, whatever else, this keeps your allies in play as long as there is a side scheme in the victory display. Obviously, Cable is going to like that because hopefully from turn 1. Here we go. More, this one is a basic side scheme that you can put into play from 1 cost. Build support, 0 victory. Each player, so 3, that you need to thwart it 3 per player. Each player may search their deck and discard pile for support, which costs 3 or less, and put it into play. Oh, man. There are definitely lots of decks that want to do that. 3 cost supports are a lot of your resource generators. I mean, is this one right here? Yeah, there you go. 2 cost Grey Malkin right into play right from the beginning of the game. Or you could get, like, I'm trying to think. I know Quinn Carry you can't do because that's Avengers only. But I'm wondering, Deadpool, by the way. Mercenary X-Force. Nice. Oh, there's a 2 thwarter, by the way, also. So there you go. There's a 3 thwart for free. Well, let's see. Deadpool's always weird. So 3 cost, 3 life. Force interrupt. When Deadpool would be defeated by consequential damage, heal 3 damage from him instead. Add an acceleration token to the main scheme. Yep, that sounds Deadpool-y. So you get to keep Deadpool, but he accelerates the main scheme. Ooh, Deathlock. There you go. 4 cost, Cyborg, X-Force. There's more Cyborgs. You know, am I thinking Cyborg? No, I'm not. I'm thinking, because it was this whole... Maybe it was Cyborg that came with Vision, right? There were all these, like, cards that helped out. I don't know if it was Cyborg. I don't think it was Cyborgs. Maybe it was. But I was thinking about that the other day, how I wanted to build a deck to focus on those cards, because I haven't seen Vision played very much at all. Now, maybe that's just my local meta. Maybe it's just the people I played with. But you don't really hear people talk about Vision a whole lot. So if this is Cyborg, if this really goes along with a deck like that, that would be pretty fun. 4 cost ally, 3 life, 2/2. Also X-Force, so again, can thwart for 3 with that X-Force upgrade. And take 0 consequential damage for it. Seems real good. Here response. After Deathlock enters play, choose an upgrade in a player's discard pile with a cost of 1 or less that can be attached to Deathlock. Attach that upgrade to Deathlock. Well, we haven't seen any upgrade cards yet, but here we go. Here is an upgrade, 2 cost weapon. It is Scimitar. It's a psionic weapon. Hero response. Oh, so this looks like it goes on a hero, though. After you play another psionic card, exhaust Scimitar, deal 2 damage to an enemy. So this wants you to play psionic cards, and it will do damage. But here's that sidearm. So there's that 1 cost upgrade we were looking for. Attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. Attached ally gets +1 attack, and its attacks gain ranged. +1 attack and range for 1 cost, not bad. You can put that on Deathlock. This also helps your other decks, because this is a basic card, and there's no restrictions to it, really. So it's going to help people who love to Voltron their allies, specifically the ones I've seen, Cosmo in the past. Although Cosmo is a little bit nerfed now with the inability to, like, really choose one of whatever decks you want. It's got to be the hero deck or the villain deck now. But who's the one I love? Yondu. Yondu's one I love to Voltron, and Sidearm now does that. Oh, Bug's another one. Bug who heals every time you attack. So Sidearm, just great for any of those allies you want to Voltron, and you get 3 of them in this deck. Last card, I think. Oh no, 4 more cards. Sorry. Frenemies. It's a Cable and Deadpool team up, 1 per deck. Deal 1 damage to each to Cable and Deadpool. Remove 3 threat from a scheme and 3 threat from a different scheme. So there you go. Lots of thwarting. 6 thwart. You have to take 2 damage to basically do 6 thwarting to 2 different cards. Seems pretty good. Well, 3 to each. And then, we haven't seen our basic resources yet. That I remembered from building this deck that there weren't basic resources. So the last 3 cards are the Power of the Mind. So this is a new basic resource. Double the number of resources this card generates when paying for a psionic card. So this is very, very, very specific to psionic cards. But if you build a deck around it, I mean, each one of them is going to give you 2 resources. So not terribly bad, although yeah, it seems more specific than some of the other ones. Like, I like the power ofs. Even the basic power of is pretty good. All right, so what do you think so far? Any comments are appreciated. Android came with Vision. That's what it was. It wasn't Cyborg. It was Android. Thank you, Mary. I really think Gray Malkin is the most important part of Cable's kit. Yeah, I mean, getting a free resource generator out every turn that unexhausts and might get you a second free resource, as long as you're getting rid of side schemes, yeah, that's pretty good. And that is not limit once per turn, I just realized. After side scheme is defeated, yeah, that is definitely not limit once per turn. So let's look at his obligation and then his nemesis set, shall we? Technovirus Resurgence. It's his obligation. Give to the Nathan Summers player when revealed. Search your deck, discard pile, hand, and victory display for Technovirus Purge and put it into play. Shuffle. Attach this card to Technovirus Purge. If you cannot, discard this card and deal yourself 1 face down encounter card. So, that I believe is his signature, right? His signature. Well, let's do it this way. Well, it's not going to be named because I scanned all these cards in. So, Technovirus card. I think this gets rid of his thing that gives him that stat boost. No, that's built. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong spot. Let's go toward the top here. Thought it was up here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, Technovirus Purge. So the bad part about this is this doesn't have a victory on it or anything. This thing is going to keep coming back. So when you put this in the victory display after you defeat it, this is going to get discarded if I'm not mistaken. Search when revealed, and you don't get to switch to your alter ego side, none of that. Search your deck, discard pile in hand, and victory display for Technovirus Purge. Put it into play. Shuffle, attach this card to Technovirus Purge. So you shuffle the deck if you needed to. And then if you cannot, discard this card and deal yourself a face down encounter card. So if you cannot attach this to Technovirus Purge for whatever reason, if you found a way to purge this card, then it would go away. But normally we said these player side schemes don't do anything bad. Well, this has an acceleration on it. So until you get rid of Technovirus Purge, you were going to get a 1 acceleration. And remember, Cable is the only person that can thwart Technovirus Purge. So that's pretty nasty, and it does not go away. So that's interesting. We got Strife over here. That is your nemesis. Mutant Liberation Front, Psionic. He is villainous, which is wonderful. It gives you 3 boost icons as well if you don't draw them. 5 health, 2/2, villainous. Wow. When a player with Psionic event, when a player plays a Psionic event, cancel the effects of the event and deal 1 damage to Strife. So, sure, that's the 1 damage is nice, I guess, but cancels your whole effect. That's crazy. Side scheme. The player Cable cannot remove threat from schemes other than Back to the Future. By the way, hilarious that they call it Back to the Future. Other players cannot remove threat from Back to the Future, so it's got to be Cable who does it. The Cable player cannot damage enemies not engaged with them. Other players cannot damage minions engaged with the Cable player. So Cable is in the future, or trying to get back to the future, or whatever. He's somewhere else in his own little world. All his minions in front of him cannot be damaged by other players, and he cannot damage minions in front of other players. And he can't thwart any scheme but this one, and he's the only one that can thwart this one. So really, he is his only best hope for getting back. Let's see. Attachment. Telekinetic force field attached to Strife, otherwise attached to the villain. Wonderful. Force interrupt. When attached character would take any amount of damage, prevent that damage. If 2 or more damage was prevented this way, discard this card. So it's like a worse tough, because you can't just plink it with 1, you got to plink it with at least 2. And piercing doesn't get through it. And it goes on Strife, or again, then the villain. Mind Scan, when revealed, place 2 threat on the main scheme, place 1 additional threat on the main scheme for each side scheme in the victory display. Oh, this is like the anti what you've been trying to do all game, is put cards in the victory display, and this puts threat on the main scheme because of it, and it confuses you if it comes up as a boost. What does this one do? Attach this card to the activating enemy, if that one comes up. But this Mind Scan is brutal. 2 threat plus 1 per main scheme in the victory display, and that is just that's gonna wreck some games. I guarantee you that. Telekinetic Blast. Reveal, take 2 damage, take an additional damage for each side scheme in the victory display. Again, super brutal, but from my understanding, you can't block this damage. It's not an attack. So you're just taking this damage. This is literally just damage that is going to kill you. So, like, literally, Mind Scan and Telekinetic Blast, first of all, are there to prevent you from doing what I had said earlier, which is making your deck only have these 15 cards in it and 25 cards in the victory display. Well, you definitely don't want that. Oh my gosh. Those 2 cards are brutal. Absolutely brutal. Mary says, Strife is also bad for Cable's damage events. Big damage events. So why is Strife by himself bad for that? When a player plays Psionic... Oh, his big damage events are Psionic. It cancels all the effects. Yeah, so... Yeah, let's look. Superpower, Psionic, Mind Scans. So those are the big thwarts you had we talked about earlier. Precognition, I mean, this is Psionic. The nice part is you can use this to damage them for 1 for 0 cost card. But these Telekinetic Blasts, yeah, you're just not going to play those, right? There's 0 reason. I mean, if you have 4 and you have not a better way to deal 1 damage to them than spending 4 cards in your hand, I don't know. There's got to be a better way than doing it that way. So, overall, pretty fun. This Nemesis set, though, man, that is really designed to mess with everything you've worked for the entire game. Which, yeah, not happy about that. I do love the theme of trying to get more and more things in the victory display, working on these player side schemes. I love all that, but not a huge fan of it backfiring when your Nemesis set comes out. But that's what Nemesis sets are supposed to do. I also don't love that his obligation keeps coming back over and over again, which makes you not necessarily want to put Technovirus Purge in the victory display early. That might not be the first card you want to pull. Even though it gives you +1 to all your stats, it's also, could get pulled away by your obligation. Although, I guess the trap for that I've learned from playing enough Cyclops is... Like, you don't plan for it, and then it never comes out. And then, of course, or you plan for it, and it never comes out. You discard your visor or whatever else, and then you never see it. And then vice versa, you pull it out, your visor, and then the next turn you draw it, it goes away. So, yeah, that obligation, I don't know. It's a little bit brutal, that is for sure. All right, so now we've covered Cable. Let's move on to Domino, who Terrence reminded me. I was super excited about Domino when I saw some of the preview. We did go through a little bit of preview stuff. It's been so long, though, that I can't remember it. I am super excited about Domino. I like the luck concept. Hand size 6, 9 hit points, 3 recovery. Don't necessarily love that. 9 hit points is not a lot, but she's lucky, right? What could go wrong? And love this picture, craps. Anytime you see me in Vegas, I will probably be at a craps table. By far my favorite gambling game. I don't gamble a lot, but when I do, I love craps. Yes, it's a high money game, but I find the cheapest tables I could find and just have a lot of fun with it with my friends. All right, so Domino's name is Nina Thurman, played by Uma Thurman. No. Definitely not. So she is Domino. Again, we already went over the stats. 9 hit points, 6 hand size. Let's see what her action is, though. Didn't zoom in on her and see that. Choose a card in your hand. Swap that card with the top card of your discard pile once per round. So you choose any card in your hand, swap it with the top card. We've seen that. I believe it was, what's her name? Wanda, I believe, could do that. Or maybe it was Quicksilver. One of the superpower twins, it was like Super Twins or something. I believe it was one of those that could swap with the top card of their discard pile. I could be wrong on that, though. We've definitely seen that power before, though. So Domino, hand size of 5, so very, very familiar for everybody. Hand size of 6 on one side, 5 on the other side, 9 hit points. 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense. Wait, she has a posse. Wait, what? Yeah, she has a posse. Posse X-Force. So let's see what this is. When counting resource cards on... Wait. Cards discarded from the top of your deck, count each printed wild resource twice. So apparently you're going to want to count resources when you're discarding from the top of your deck. She probably does a lot of top decking, discarding stuff. You count wild twice. That makes her luck of putting a card back on top very good too. If you know you're going to be discarding that card, you want something with a wild resource on it. That's pretty neat. So you get a little bit of, if you're switching from alter ego to regular, you get a little bit of benefit from that action. Choose a card in your hand. Swap the card with the top card of your deck. Well, guess what? She could do it on either side. Never mind. And I believe that means she could do it once on this side and once on this side, unless I am wrong. They both say limit once per round, but they are different actions, right? So she's mutant on this side, Posse X-Force on this side. I'm curious about that. Can you do it once per round on each side? Let me know what you think in the chat. Mary says, definitely not Scarlet Witch. All right. Maybe it's Quicksilver. Superpowered siblings, something like that. I don't know. I feel like that's the name of a thing, but I think maybe it was 2. Maybe it was like draw 2, discard 2. I don't remember, but I remember seeing that recently. Diamondback is a 2-cost ally, also part of the posse. 2 life, 1/1. Exhaust Diamondback, deal 1 damage to her, and discard the top card of your deck. Deal 1 damage to each enemy for each resource icon discarded this way. Again, remember, wild resources count twice, so you could deal 2 damage to each enemy. Each enemy? Wait, deal 1 damage to each enemy for each resource icon discarded this way. So if it's 2, it's 2 to each enemy. That does not say in front of a player. Diamondback, deal 1 damage to her and discard the top card of your deck. Deal 1 damage to each enemy. Period. End of story. That seems real good. Now, only 2 life, so you can only do that twice. But still, that seems real good when you can make sure there's a wild resource on top. And maybe you don't even need that wild resource because, I mean, let's be honest. Doing 1 damage a lot of times is enough to plink off Tufts or whatever else. I mean, 2's certainly better. Seems pretty good. Mary says Domino is very strategic and wants to do things in a very specific order. Mary says that just lets you draw cards. All right. So we got Outlaw here. Another part of the posse. She is an outlaw and part of the posse. 3 cost, 3 life, 1/1. Who comes in with toughness. Interrupt. When Outlaw attacks, discard the top card of your deck. Outlaw gets +1 for this attack for each resource icon discarded this way. So she comes in. She's a taunt or a tank for you the first time with her tough, and she's going to get to go ahead and attack and get +1 attack for each resource icon. Remembering that star or wilds count twice because of Domino. Pretty sweet. Mary says Domino's alter ego action is different than her hero action. The alter ego action takes it from the discard. The hero action takes it from your deck. Oh. Choose a card in your hand. Swap it with the top card of your discard pile. Discard pile. Got it. Here, discard from the top of your deck. Count each printed. Choose a card from your hand. Swap it with the top card of your deck. Deck. Discard pile. Got it. Both times you're swapping it with something in your hand. All right. Thank you, Mary. I appreciate the heads up on that. Outlaw looks pretty stinking good. Oh my gosh. A good workout. Hero action. Attack. Deal 4 damage to an enemy and discard the top card of your deck. For each resource icon discarded this way, deal 1 additional damage to the enemy. So again, 4. You can get up to 6, I guess. I mean, I guess I think there are cards with actually double wild, which would be +4. That'd be up to 8 damage. I mean, that's decent. It's not a huge amount of damage, though, for these attacks. Now, it is only 2 cost. If this is her big attack, 4 Probably 6 you can count on reliably. Is not huge for a big attack, but you do get 2 of them, so that's good. Luck be a lady tonight. Alright, this is a 1-cost event. Discard the top card of your deck and count the resources icons on it. For each resource counted this way, if it is a energy, you heal 2 damage from a character. If it is a mental, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If it is a physical, deal 3 damage to an enemy. If it is a wild, you choose one of the above. And again, because of her power, each printed wild counts twice. So that would be a total, if you get it, of your choice of 2 of those if it's a wild card. And if you notice, I think 14 of her 15 cards are wilds, if I remember correctly. I think that's what Terrence told me. We can kind of look back. Everyone I've seen so far has been wild. Yep, every card we've seen so far has been a wild resource. So that really combos with her, and she's definitely going to want some wild resources. That is for sure. Right place, right time, 2-cost event, superpower thwart. So this is her main thwarting event, it looks like. 2 cost, remove 3 hero action thwart, remove 3 threat from a scheme, and discard the top card of your deck. For each resource icon discarded this way, remove an additional threat. I mean, this is clearly a theme that is going to go through all of her cards. She gets 2 of those, right place, right times. Jackpot. Oh, that is a jackpot. A resource, 1 of each. Nice. After this card is discarded from the top of your deck, shuffle it back into your deck, and she can put it in her deck using her special power. Choose a card in your hand, swap with the top card of your deck. And she can pull it from the discard pile if she needs to as well, assuming it's on the top and she goes alter ego. Oh, jackpot. That is pretty cool. So that's like the shawarma card as far as 1 of each type of resource, but even better. That is sweet. Oh, Pip the Pug. It's a 1-cost support creature, alter ego action, exhaust Pip the Pug. Put 1 domino or posse card from your discard pile on top of your deck. So that means so far we've seen allies that are all posse. They have all been domino specific cards. This says you could put a domino specific or a posse card from your discard on top of your deck. So that means there must be other posse cards. Mary says, I think there's only 1 card in her whole kit that doesn't have the wild resource. Yeah, well, we just saw it, I guess. There might be another one, but that one definitely isn't wild. It's got every resource on it, but it is not in and of itself wild. Mary says, I always sing that in my head when I draw Luck Be a Lady. I have to hold myself back from snapping my fingers too. Well, Mary, if you're playing solo, go ahead. And let me tell you something. If you're watching the stream at 10 o'clock tonight, I probably will be snapping my fingers and singing Luck Be a Lady tonight. Mary says Pip. Yeah, Pip, very, very cool. All right. Painted Lady. It's a vehicle, 1-cost support. Response. After you discard a card from the top of your deck, attach that card face down here to a maximum of 3. Alter ego action, exhaust the Painted Lady to add 1 card attached here to your hand. So after you discard a card from the top of your deck, doing basically most of your actions, you put it on there. You can exhaust it later to draw it back into your hand. That's kind of nice. Domino's Pistol. It's a 2-cost upgrade. Weapon, restricted. Hero action, attack. Exhaust Domino's Pistol. Choose an enemy and discard the top card of your deck. Deal 1 damage to the enemy. For each resource icon discarded this way, this attack gains ranged. So, again, 1 damage per... I mean, it's always going to be 1, right? Even if you don't get a wild. But, and you get 2 of those. Now, that means you're not going to know necessarily what the second one is. So you want to build her with a lot of resource icons, a lot of double resource cards, a lot of wilds. That is for stinking sure. Luck and Good, or Lucky and Good. It's a 1-cost upgrade, superpower. Hero Interrupt, defense. When a boost card is turned face up during an attack against you, exhaust Lucky and Good. Cancel that card's boost icons and boost ability. Oh, that's nice. And boost ability. Give the attacking enemy another boost card. Oh, never mind. Wait. When this card is turned face up... Wait. When the boost card is turned face up during an attack. Exhaust it. Cancel the boost card. all of it, and then give him another boost card. All right, so yeah, that's, again, some luck for your defense. 9 life, you're going to need it, though. Lucky Break, a 0-cost upgrade. And these are upgrades, too, which means they go in play, which is nice. Although it does take wild resources out of your deck. Lucky Break, Hero Interrupt. When you reveal an encounter card, discard Lucky Break, cancel the effects of that card, and discard it. Reveal another card from the encounter deck. I believe this is the card, and in fact, I know this is the card we showed off. We got an early sneak preview of. So you get to discard whatever encounter card it was. And the nice part here is it's encounter card. It doesn't say treachery. It doesn't say anything else. So any counter card, or any encounter card you can get rid of and draw a different one instead. Oh, I was hoping there would be 2 of those. But nope, probability field, 2-cost upgrade, superpower. When you use a basic power, discard the top card of your deck. You get +1 to that power for this use for each resource icon discarded this way. Use basic power. So attacking, defending, thwarting. She gets +1 to whatever power based on the number of icons. Again, doubling wilds. So yeah, I think the only non-wild one I remember seeing was the one that was all 3. So that is, so she also has one of these, so she has the Justice one, Hero Side Schemes. So this one's going to cost 0. It's going to get 4 per player though, threat on it. Well, I guess that makes sense. It's Injustice, so Justice players are more likely to be able to thwart it. Victory 0. When defeated, each player may discard 1 not-elite minion from play. So you just get rid of a non-elite minion for thwarting it away. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I guess it's really good for minion hemi. I mean, that is going to be very situational. Very game situational. Not bad for sure. It lets Justice get rid of enemies. Each player may discard 1 non-elite minion from play. And that means it doesn't have to be in front of them. It didn't say each player may discard 1 non-elite minion in front of themselves from play. It didn't say that. It says any non-elite minion. So even if somebody's getting ganged up on, you can help that player out. Mary says, I would be very disappointed if there wasn't at least one rendition of Luck Be a Lady. Mary also says, just wait till you get to Digging Deep. I know there's a song in there. Into the Deep. I'll get there. I'll see if a song strikes me when I get there. So this is Feral. This is a X-Force character. Not part of the posse, by the way. 4 cost, 3 life, 2 thwart, 2 attack. There is a star on the thwart which says response. After Feral thwarts, discard the top card of your deck. For each resource icon discarded this way, deal 1 damage to the villain. So again, that goes, I mean, that sounds perfectly to go with Domino. Other characters certainly like it, but it certainly won't be as good as somebody who is resource fixing. By the way, neither of these cards are wild. There aren't a lot of wild, like, aspect cards. Wolfsbane. I feel like I've seen Wolfsbane before. I don't know why. So Wolfsbane's a 3 cost, 3 resource cost ally. 2 thwart, 1 attack. Response. After Wolfsbane thwarts, name a card type. Then discard the top card of your deck. Again, you might fix this. If that card is the name type, you may add it to your hand. So Wolfsbane helps you get cards back in your hand. Domino lets you pick what kind of card. I mean, Wolfsbane's going to be in my decks only because he's a werewolf, right? Seems good. Overwatch, which is a video game by Blizzard. 0 cost upgrade attached to a scheme, max 1 per scheme. Hero Interrupt. When any amount of threat is removed from the attached scheme by thwart, discard this card. Remove an equal amount of threat from a different scheme. We definitely have seen this before. So this is a card we've seen. Attached to a scheme. When you remove threat from one scheme, remove it from a different scheme. Yeah, and I love that card. One of my favorite new Justice cards. So I'm glad it's making its way back. Team Investigation. This costs 2 per player. It's an alliance card. So we've seen these before. Players as a group can pay for this. I don't think the costs in the past have been per player. I could be wrong. I thought it was like 4 cost. Players can pay for it however they want. Whatever. This is interesting. This is the first time I remember seeing a cost per player. Team investigation, alliance. Players can pay for it as a group. That doesn't mean everybody has to pay to. It just means as a group, you have to pay 2 times the number of players. Hero action, remove 3 per player threat from a side scheme. So that's probably why it's player dependent, because the effect is player dependent as well. Just from a side scheme, really good for getting rid of those player side schemes, or just any mission with pesky side schemes. We got 1, 2, 3 of those team investigates. Now, imagine even in a 2-player game, you pay 4 for this, right? Gets rid of 6 threat. You got Overwatch. Now you're getting rid of 6 threat from 2 schemes. That goes up in a 4-player game. You're removing, what, 12 threat? Potentially from 2 different schemes. That's kind of a fun combination there. Even the odds. Requirement is energy. When paying for this card, spend the listed resource. So you have to pay an energy to pay for it. It's a 2 cost. Even the odds. I feel like we've seen this card as well. Maybe new art though. Hero action thwart. Remove 1 threat from each side scheme and deal 1 damage to the villain for each, or 1 threat per player from each side scheme. We've definitely seen this. Deal 1 damage to the villain for each side scheme defeated this way. Again, this card becomes better. All these side scheme cards become better in this meta where players are putting side schemes out. So Domino will definitely help that. 3 even the odds in there. So she also has another side scheme. This is a basic side scheme, superpower training, 0 victory. So this would go to the victory display when defeated. Each player may search their deck and discard pile for an identity-specific upgrade and put it into play. So you get to put a identity-specific upgrade into play. Not just you. Each player gets to do that, although you do need to remove 3 threat per player. Kind of nice. Atlas Bear. Part of the posse, also part of Wakanda. Oh, that's nice. Add into that Wakanda. Maybe we'll see some Wakanda specific stuff in the future. 3 cost ally, 3 life, 1/1. As an action, exhausts Atlas Bear. Look at the top card of a player deck. If that card is an event, you may deal 1 damage to Atlas Bear to add that card to its owner's hand. That's any deck. But remember, you do get to know what's on top of your deck, potentially. Although you can't use it for all of these things, obviously. White Fox. 3 cost, 3 life, posse member as well. 1 thwart, 1 attack. A lot of these are 1 thwart, 1 attacks. I don't love that. These allies are chumpers or use them for their actions, it seems like. Response. After White Fox is discarded from the top of your deck, put her into play under your control. Oh, that makes White Fox way better. She's only worth 1 resource, but you get to put her into play for free. Yes, please, and thank you. Ooh, Sharpshooter upgrade. It's a skill, max 1 per player. Hero interrupt. When you make a ranged attack, discard the top card of your deck. This attack deals 1 additional damage for each resource icon discarded this way. Again, she's already going to be discarding the top card of her deck. Now she's going to be discarding 2. She's going to go through her deck pretty stinking quickly at this rate. She can, from her alter ego side, get cards back on top of her deck. But I don't know. That's a lot of putting stuff on top of your deck. Or discarding from the top of your deck. Wow. And 3 of them. You can put it in front of any player. When you make a ranged attack. So really, obviously only good on ranged characters. Domino, her basic attack isn't ranged. So that's interesting. You'll have to figure out a way to give her ranged attacks. I think there was a way in there somehow, but interesting. The Posse, here you go, an event, max 1 per deck. It's a Posse card. Play only if you control at least 3 characters with the Posse trait. Well, good luck with that. I know there are a lot in this deck, but still a lot. I mean, you have to have 2 allies in play that are Posse. Hero action. Heal 1 damage from each Posse character and ready them. It's pretty stinking good, though. I mean, if you could make it work, it's pretty good. Digging deep. Oh, and it's a wild resource. So worst case scenario, it's a wild resource. So yeah, it's worth having in your deck for sure. Digging deep. These are the last 6 cards. We are to the resources. Oh, and I think 3 of them are the basic resources. So after this card is discarded from the top of your deck, add it to your hand. So again, and then you could potentially put it back on top of your deck. Pretty sweet. You get 3 of those, and then you get the normal strength, genius, and energy. I'm curious about Domino. She will definitely see a lot of her deck. She will definitely go through her deck pretty quickly. I'm curious how it's going to hold up. I'm super excited about playing her still. There's a lot of deck manipulation. You don't see that very often. A lot of messing with the top of your deck. A lot of discarding cards to get through your deck faster. A lot of seeing new cards because you're switching the cards from the top of your deck, from your hand, to the top of your deck, from your discard pile to your hand. You can really do some neat stuff to try to get the cards you want back in play over and over again. So I do like that about her for sure. Oh, Mary says Wolfsbane was a campaign ally in the Mutant Genesis box. See, I knew I'd seen Wolfsbane before somewhere. Just wait till you get to digging deep. I'm sorry, Mary, did I forget digging? Oh, there it is. After this card is discarded from the top of your deck, add it to your hand. Yeah, it's pretty stinking good. You are right, Mary. All right, now let's see what kind of horror they came up with this for these obligations and nemesis cards. They really, Cables was brutal. All right, give to the Nina Thurman player Memories of Armageddon. Wow, she looks like some bad stuff happened to her when she was a kid. Treat your identity's printed text box as if it were blank, except for traits. All right, so right away that gets rid of her putting stuff on top of the deck. Alter ego action. Exhaust your identity, discard it. So this is a very traditional one, except the traditional ones used to let you flip for free. They're not letting you do that anymore. I'm actually curious about this backstory. As a child, Nina was used as a lab rat in a super soldier program known as Project Armageddon. Well, there you go. All right, so we have 6 more cards to go through, and then we'll be done with this unboxing today. And just as a reminder, none of these cards are available anywhere else. I scanned them and put them up myself, so these are not freely available. We will be playing with these cards tonight, though, on our live stream, so come back and join us at 10 p.m. But yeah, no, these cards, as far as I know, are not available anywhere else. I literally scanned them all myself. So Topaz is her her nemesis, not her alter ego. So 3 life, 1 scheme to attack, not too bad. Mutant, 1 revealed. Search the encounter deck and discard pile and set aside area for a copy of Superpower Feedback and attach it to your identity. And then shuffle. Well, Superpower Feedback does not sound good. You got to put 1 on you. Not My Lucky Day is the side scheme. Domino's always having a lucky day. It's only 3, plus 1 boost icon. Domino's having terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. When revealed, each player must either take 1 damage or place 2 threat here. So that's going to damage people or put threat there. Got to get rid of it. Well, you don't have to. It doesn't stick around and do anything. I mean, it's just, look, plus 1 acceleration, or not acceleration. Like boost icon's not great, but it's not the worst. So this is prototype. What was she looking for? Superpower Feedback. So we haven't seen that yet. There's a star after this life. I've never seen that before, I don't think. Prototype. 2/2. 1 star for their life. Prototype gets plus 1 hit point for each luck counter on him. When revealed, place luck counters on Prototype equal to the amount of damage your identity has sustained. So they get luck counters and plus extra hit points. That is just wonderful. With your 9 life stat. I mean, it looks like she wants to go protection with that 3 defense to me. Lets her stay up. I feel like that. Oh, here's that Superpower Feedback. Great. Condition attached to your identity. Force response. After you resolve an ability on your identity or an identity-specific card, take a damage. Alter ego action. Discard an identity-specific card from your hand to discard this card. You could discard it and then get it back, though, because your alter ego lets you get that back. I'll have to trade out. And there are 2 Superpower Feedbacks. All right, so that doesn't seem as bad to me as the Cable one, although the Cable also has some really good stuff associated with them. So I think, all in all, at the end of the day, it's probably going to balance out. I do like both of these characters. I mean, it's amazing to me that the design crew, and this is a new designer who did this. I think his name is... Let me look it up, because actually I'm going to get him on the podcast for an interview. I just haven't yet. His name's Tony. Tony Fanchi. So, yeah, I'm hoping to get him on for an interview. I thought we were going to do it before this set came out, but then I realized we're close to episode 400 of the podcast. We have this week's episode, which is Gen Con recap, and next week's episode, which is episode 400, which is going to be a very special episode of the podcast. Usually we record that live here, so stay tuned here for that. We should be recording that next week, maybe Tuesday even. So yeah, I'm not sure when we're going to get Marvel in next week. Maybe we play Sunday instead of Thursday, just so I can get that podcast up. We're going to have to see. Going to have to mess with things. So actually, Thursday will probably be the podcast. Sunday will probably be the Marvel Champions for next week. But let's go ahead and see what this last card is that I put aside. This is the only card that came, from what I could see, in the entire set that is not in one of the 2 starting decks. So you do have Hope Summers here. She is a 4-cost X-Force, 3 life, 2 thwart, 2 attack character. Hope Summers gains each trait on your identity. So she, I guess she's must be similar to, I can't think of her name right now, who takes traits. He got the touch card. I can't think of it right now, but she, I guess, takes traits from other people. After you play Hope Summers from your hand, search your deck for a superpower card and add it to your hand and shuffle. So she's 4-cost. She does get you a card back, but it has to be a superpower. And it has to be from your deck. And you have to play her from your hand, very specifically. Yeah, I mean, if you're building a superpower deck, it might be worthwhile. I could see some decks where you'd want to play her. She seems pretty expensive, although 2/2 is pretty stinking good as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Seems pretty cool. I am super happy. I'm super excited to try these out. Like, that is the one thing. I definitely am going to play a domino game. Apparently, my wife is texting me that I need to come up for dinner. So I'm going to do my dinner, and then I'm going to play a domino game and record it, and then I'll be right back at 10 p.m. I might not have a voice because I recorded this. I worked all day today. I had 2 meetings in addition to work, starting early this morning, and then I had one at 4 o'clock, which is why I was late to starting this. So, yeah. So it's been a long day. I'm going to record at least one more video, and then we're doing our stream tonight. Terrence is going to do all the talking. I'm going to be deaf mute tonight. No, I'm just kidding. I'm definitely going to talk, but my voice might be partially gone, if not all the way. So we are playing Domino and Cable tonight. I'm going to play Domino. Terrence is making both of the decks, so they should be good, although I won't know how to play them. So there is that as well. So Mary says the superpower feedback is nasty. Yeah, it seems nasty. Oh, there's Dr. Dan. Hello, Dr. Dan. Although I know it's Dr. Hen, but Dr. Dan. Now the quotes around unboxing makes more sense. Yes. So, yeah, I'm not officially unboxing, unwrapping, whatever else. But tell me what you think. Did you like being able for me to zoom in on the cards, being able to read them clearly? Does it bother you that it was in a digital format? Yeah. Oh, Mary's excited about the interview. Yep, I am definitely going to interview Tony in the next couple weeks. If you have questions, please let me know. Send them to me in our Discord or email them to, let's do it to the onestopcoopshop@gmail.com email address. Rogue, Mary says. Rogue is the one that touches people and gets their powers. Hope Summers, I'm assuming, is the same way. I don't know anything about Hope herself. But she gains traits attached to whatever identity she's attached to. So maybe she is more specific to one person, whereas I know Rogue could change from time to time. But Mary's excited about the interview. Hopefully you are too. I don't know when that's going to be. I'm hoping within the next... We're also preparing for a Kickstarter campaign. We're launching our own game coming out. So I just got to see how busy his schedule is. I'm hoping to keep up with the podcast, but this week's is going to be brutal. Podcast edit. I will tell you, this will probably be the least edited podcast I've ever done, just because I'm doing all this Marvel Champion stuff. I still got to edit that. I got plans with 2 different people this weekend. My daughter's got hockey practice. There's a lot going on. And I'm going away for a hockey tournament next weekend, which is why I won't be able to stream. So, there's a lot going on this week. So don't expect a well-edited podcast this Sunday. Episode 399. We're letting it all go. But yeah, join us back here. Just as a reminder, tonight at 10 p.m., we are going to be playing Domino and Cable. We are not playing with the pre-constructed decks. We are playing the first scenario. We're playing it on Expert. Terrence is making both decks, so they both should be good. And if nobody has any more comments, I'm going to say bye.